you for accepting my invitation and allowing me to
Yeah,
talk with you.
sure.
Can you introduce yourself to my audience?
Sure. My name is Ned Keitt-Pride. I'm a human being. I I work in entertainment lighting, and I like working on the occasional amateur film project or other creative ventures as they come up.
You're from?
I'm originally from the Washington D.C. area, and now I live in Madison, Wisconsin.
Okay. So you are into filmmaking.
More as a performer than filmmaking itself, but I worked with Bob Love on a couple of different projects, as well as some voiceover stuff here and there.
Okay. So you're actor.
Yeah,
Okay. What is your experience?
in acting, geez, well, if you ask my family, I started very young, but I got involved in theater in junior high school, and that was really when I started performing on stage. Stayed in theater all through high school, majored in theater in college. Um, Wound up doing a lot of like street performance and things like that after college for a while, and then uh, gotten more into the work world. But my stage fixation for a long time was shifted to doing karaoke shows and a little bit of stand-up comedy open mics for several years, and then when I moved to Madison about 12, 13 years ago, some mutual friends of mine introduced me to Bob, and that's when I had a chance to start acting in front of a camera for the first time.
So you worked with Bob Love.
Yeah, on a couple of his film projects, yeah.
I think he's multi-talented. I understood him after talking with him.
Yeah. No, he's a good guy. He's real smart. He's fun to work with. He definitely knows how to push an actor to keep trying new angles, new takes, new ideas on something until he gets the thing that he really wants. And yeah, it was good. It was a good experience.
You're a performer. You're an actor, and what else do you do?
Uh, well, my day job, I work in marketing for a lighting manufacturer. Um, we make entertainment lighting, architectural lighting controls, things like that. I also do a lot of study on. I have my master's in organizational leadership, and so I do a lot of just kind of personal study and reading on concepts like uh, basically organizational models that aren't based on hierarchy but are a lot flatter, more diverse,
Okay,
and
you're
that kind
doing
of stuff.
multiple
So
things.
yeah,
You're doing multiple things in which you are better.
wow, that's a really good question. If I had to pick the one thing I think I'm best at right now, it's probably honestly performing. I have, in terms of combination of just most experience and skill, I'd say that that's probably, particularly between, whether it's acting on a camera, public speaking, singing on stage, all those kinds of things. That's definitely the thing I've done the most and built the most skill in.
You have very good
Yeah.
voice.
I mean, depends on the day, but I like to think so.
I mean, you did masters in leadership, right?
Yes.
And every
Yeah.
leader, I think a leader should have a good, a commanding voice so that he can communicate and manage people better. And I think the voice is making very easier for you to do that job.
Well, I think I found that a lot of, absolute communication is central to leadership. It's not, necessarily being able to shout orders and get people to just do things. There are certain times where that's really valuable, like particularly in, if there's a crisis going on, or if there's, particularly if there's anyone in danger, being able to be a strong voice in the midst of a very tense situation is important. But, to really lead people involves actually a lot more listening and a lot more about getting other people to share and speak up and give amplify their voices so that as a group you end up going to another place. I mean, that's what leading is, right? If you're not leading if you're not moving from one place to another. And so it's a lot of being able to see a goal that you've established by listening to a community, and then being able to offer that community a clear vision of where you could all be headed if you all work together.
So, performing, you said that you are a
Mm-hmm.
good performer, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
why you're performing?
What's that?
Why you're performing? What is
Why am I
what is your
performing?
intention? Yeah.
Hmm. Um, when I get a chance to perform, I mean, often for me, it's honestly just a lot of fun. A lot of the things that I do are projects that are just fun, and um, I really do like there's a community that gets built up and a camaraderie that gets built up over the course of doing a production of doing a project together. That's something I really like. You get to connect to people, either as characters, but hopefully, off camera or off stage as people as well. And I like telling stories. I think that stories are really powerful. Stories allow us to communicate really complex ideas in ways that make it easy for everyone to understand. Um, and they pull the audience and the performers together if it's done really well. Whether that's just something that's kind of, whether that's just sharing an hour and a half of kind of, laughing and fun, or action and adventure, whatever that is. Sometimes it can be very deep and meaningful. Sometimes it can just be lighthearted, and that's okay too. But I like that process of connecting with people, and I like, I don't know. It's just fun pretending to be someone else for a little while.
So, you're performer only before the camera or back of the camera too.
So I actually not in film. I haven't done a whole lot, although I did help, Bob move the lights around here and there because we all had to. um, but I actually spent most of my time in theater backstage as a stagehand. So running curtains, running rigging, building stages, um, all that kind of stuff, running the sets.
So
Yeah.
you are into marketing and you are into performing and you are a leader too. Which one will you choose if I want you to pick one?
If I had to pick one, I would work primarily on my work with organizations and leadership because I think that
Okay.
that has elements of all of those things. But that's the thing I'm most passionate about.
In the beginning, why you said that you are a human being?
Oh, I don't know, just because I think it's important for it's a thing for everybody to remember. I don't know. It's probably the single most important thing about me, I guess, is I'm just a human being. But
What what is your age?
how old am I? I'm 46.
46. You don't look like 46.
Well, I exfoliate.
So you said that you married recently.
Oh no, actually just the opposite. I divorced recently.
Okay, okay, okay. But
Yeah.
coming to performing, you said
Hmm.
that you are a good performer and you feel you give more marks to yourself as a performer. When you
Hmm.
started performing,
When did I start performing?
Yeah.
So seventh grade, I kind of went was sort of my first actual official thing on a stage. So I was probably about 12. Yeah, 12.
Okay. So leadership.
Hmm.
How many marks will you give to yourself as a leader?
Oof, that's tough. That's an area of real growth for me. Um, I don't know. I would say in terms of getting a chance to lead people, I would say probably 6 out of 10 in terms of understanding how leadership works and being able to work with people to help them become better leaders. I'd probably say more like 7 or 8 out of 10, but maybe that's in my head. I'm still working on the opportunities to do it, which is part of why I'm passionate about it, is because I feel like there's a lot of things I want to explore, and I need to get my hands on some of those experiences to be able to do that more.
Acting. What do you say about acting?
Um, to me, I guess, in terms of just, I, I've long subscribed to Michael Caine's. I read Michael Caine's book on acting in film when I was in high school, and it really, I found it very helpful. Just getting, knowing the text so well that you're not thinking about what your next line is, and you can just play the character. But I have a fairly technical approach. I don't tend to do the method acting per se, other than maybe on camera or on stage. I don't tend to try to take that off stage, um, but it's a lot of time just learning. Even spending time in front of a mirror, learning what your face looks like, so that when you do something with your muscles, you know exactly what you're communicating. Um, spending a lot of time working on different accents or different voices, different traits, different physicalities. The more you can be aware of your body, the better you can use it to do whatever it is that needs to be done in that scene.
Are you good in changing yourself for acting?
Um, I think so, but I haven't had to change myself a ton. In the different roles I played, but certainly in terms of like whether, particularly in terms of voices, accents, things like that, is kind of specialty of mine. So yeah, I'd say in that respect, yes.
Which one will you feel comfortable, being yourself or acting like somebody else?
Not that long ago, I would have said acting like somebody else, but I've done a lot of therapy in the last couple of years. I'm getting a lot better at being myself.
Are you a singer?
Yes.
Can you sing a song for me?
Any requests?
Yeah, any song.
Any song.
Yeah.
Let's see. Sure, I'll sing a song. So one of the things I also like to do is write parody songs. So this is kind of one that I wrote recently. This is a parody of the song Desperado by the Eagles, called Reposado. So here we go. Reposado, you made me lose all my senses. I pulled down my pants and now I'm dancing outdoors. Oh, you're a stiff one. But tonight I've got reasons. I just need to get painless before my face hits the floor. Don't you tell me that I've had too much. I'm just a tiny bit unstable. I'm 90% upright and my face isn't numb. Just shut your mouth and have a drink. I don't give a damn, just like Clark Gable. You're just here to make sure that we do something dumb.
I asked you to sing because you have amazing sound, vocal sound. I never asked any
Thank you.
people. I feel very happy because you sang.
Thanks.
You have great commanding voice, and you have a great voice in Telugu movies in a regional in my country.
Hmm.
If they see our video, definitely they'll request you to act in our movies too. That's why the reason I
Go for it. Pass them along.
credit to me.
Absolutely. Fine. I'll get you a finder's fee.
You know what? In Indian movies,
Yeah.
the opposite characters have
Hmm.
a strong voice, a voice with which uh, they can create fear, they can create panic situations, they can create intimidating
Hmm.
uh, emotions. You can do that actually. That is you that
Yeah.
I think that you got uh, God gave you that.
uh, yeah, it's useful when I'm, occasionally on the side I'll work security at like a club or something, and it's very helpful to, especially I'm 6'4", so I'm a fairly big guy, and so usually if I can avoid even saying anything, I just, you know, kind of stare, right, and people tend to fall in line.
What is the best compliment that you got?
Uh, what is this broadcast rated? Um, so I used to be a bouncer at a strip club,
Okay.
and I never messed with any of the people who performed there. I wasn't there to try to, hook up with anybody. I was professional. I was trying to make everybody feel safe, and you know, after a few months, one of the cocktail waitresses pulled me aside after a shift and was like, "Are you married?" No. You have a girlfriend? No. Well, thank you for not being a pussy chasing asshole. That's probably the greatest compliment I've ever gotten.
Okay. What is working for you and what is not working for you?
In my life right now,
Yeah.
things that are working for me. Getting in touch, working on my mental health, like seeing a therapist regularly and seeing a psychiatrist. And, the past couple of years, I've discovered that I've had a lot of long term things like OCD, ADD, depression, things that I just never had diagnosed before. And starting to treat those with medicine has been incredibly beneficial for me. Really life changing in a real positive way. And then coupling that with, talking with a therapist and getting, working through some of the emotional consequences of those conditions and other factors in my life has been equally helpful. Um, uh, Stuff that's not working, this pandemic really isn't working great for me right now. I would, our company is doing I think the best job it can, but we're a manufacturing company in the entertainment lighting industry, and there aren't a lot of theaters and open right now, and so we're currently on a 50% work schedule. So it'd be nice to be able to get back to work full time, for sure.
You're 40, right? You're 40 plus.
Yes.
What you have seen and what you have listened and what you have understood in this 40 years.
Whew. I've had a chance to see a lot of things. I think I haven't been all over the world, but I've had a chance to spend some time in you know South Africa and Thailand and Germany, UK, different parts of Europe, um, all over North America. Um, and I think that I think what I guess that's kind of partly why I said, "Hey, I'm a human being." The first thing is there are a lot of things that disconnect people. Um, culturally, we have a lot of different ways of looking at the world. Um, Everybody does, and I think for me, the thing that I keep trying to remind myself and about other people, is that each person is their own miracle. Like each person's existence is really, in the broad scope of the universe, you're unique. All of us. No one else. This life that each of us has will never be duplicated ever in the history of the universe, and that makes each of us really freaking special and valuable, regardless of whatever our abilities or anything else is. That doesn't change our value, and it is taking on that perspective and continuing to apply that more broadly and deeply in my life is something that not only helps me, it challenges me to say I don't want to waste the value of my life that I have to give and offer and do things, but also it allows me to see even the people I disagree with vehemently, even people that are full of hatred that I despise that hatred and that anger and that you know but I can still see them as a valuable person and try to find ways to, push for us to find ways to value each other so that, even in disagreement, can I value that human being, even if I don't have to value their argument, even if I don't have to value what they're saying, or I don't even have to value their actions. But I can push for us to try to have answers and systems in place that still show value to all people. And um, to me, that's better than just trying to, keep scrambling to see who gets to be on top and who's right and who's better and who's more value, whose opinions are more worthwhile. Um, and instead trying to just scrap all of that and get to a point where, you know, if they've got a terrible idea, fine, they don't have enough power to ruin someone else's life. I'd much rather have us, working that way as opposed to, just, I think the idea that, somebody has to be on top is just one of the single most damaging ideas that we have in the world. And because no matter who winds up on top, somebody's going to wind up being oppressed that way.
How many marks will you give to yourself as a communicator?
Um, I would say honestly, between like 5 and 10, depending on the day. There are moments when I think I can communicate really well, but I know also that I'm an external processor. I tend to think things through as I'm talking. And so occasionally I wind up like kind of coming back around to something. Whereas if I have time to prepare something, um, or especially if I just have some time to speak from my heart, I think I communicate very well.
Okay, so are you good in connecting with people?
I think so. If they're open to being connected with, I work really hard to be empathetic. I try to be open to, again, the value of what other people bring to the table and try not to judge people by appearances or anything. I'm pretty willing for anyone, to be friends with anyone to start with. And if they prove themselves to be, they're, did you ever have a teacher? I don't know. There's a saying, I had several teachers, growing up that was like, everybody starts out my class with an A. And then if you don't do the work over the course of the year, you'll get a lower grade. But right now, everybody has an A. That's kind of how I am with people. Everybody starts with an A. When I meet you, you've got an A. If you start disrespecting me or disrespecting other people or being, your grade drops pretty fast. I don't have any time for that. But if you're willing to do the work, then yeah, it's very easy to connect.
Are you good in listening?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Are you good at listening? Are you good
Sorry,
with that?
I can't resist terrible jokes. I'm working on getting a lot better. I think I am very good at picking up a lot of things that people don't say. as well as what they do say. But I've spent, I'd say probably the past 5 years in particular, really working hard on being more intent on listening and less worried about having a chance to say something. And that's helped a lot.
What do you think that you have that people around you that they don't have?
I think a general sense of joy. I'm not a very cynical person. I don't really believe in being realistic. I'm very much an idealist, and that makes me pretty happy. I get excited about how I think things could be if we tried to do some things differently. Um, and I think a lot of people that I know and a lot of people around me are just kind of, maybe a little hopeless or just a little, they've been burned one too many times, and so they don't, this is
Okay.
just the way things are. Can't change it. It's human nature, whatever.
Do you believe in God?
I am an atheist, but I, I believe that I believe I don't know everything, so I'm certainly open to the idea that there may be, energies, other things that we haven't really explained yet. But I don't believe in a particular like deity.
What you have achieved in your life?
What have I achieved?
Yeah.
Um, I have completed 2 degree programs. I think more than anything, I've achieved being I think a better than a pretty damn good dad to my 10 and a half year old.
Wow.
If I had any single achievement that I'd be the most proud of, it's that they're doing really well, and they're continuing to grow, and um, yeah. Uh, Beyond that, I mean, everything kind of pales to that. But I've I've made some great friends over the course of my and put the time and effort into maintaining those friendships over long distances. It's not easy. So I think that that's also an accomplishment I'm very proud of. Yeah.
Do you have anything to say to my audience?
Uh, just same thing I'd say to anybody. So actually, no, I'll say something. I'll say this. So I spent a long time working with a friend of mine who's a theater teacher in Virginia at the high school level. And I was a guest teacher in her classes for many, many years. And one of the exercises that I would have them do is get up and look people in the eye and shake their hand and say, "You are a fine looking individual." Because we have a million billion companies all over the planet who constantly try to tell us that there's something about us that's wrong that their product will fix. And so I would say to your, and hearing those things, like, you're a fine looking individual. There is nothing wrong with you. There is nothing wrong with you that some product is going to fix. You're not inherently broken. You're great. Because when you have that underlying sense of being good, of being okay, of not needing to fix yourself in terms of, my teeth aren't white enough, I'm not tall enough, I'm not short enough, whatever, I don't have good enough hair. Um,
Mhm.
if you're not trying to fix that, you can take risks then. It becomes safe and especially when you're talking about acting and art and all these other things, it's so easy to get into a situation where we're scared about, oh, am I going to look like an idiot if I take this risk, if I try this thing, if I do it this scene this way, or if I, or am I going to look like an idiot if I apply for that job or talk to that person that I think is interesting or whatever it is. Safety allows us to take risk, and risk makes life really a lot more interesting. So I think if there's anything I'd say to your audience is that you're great. You're fine looking individuals.
Can I put this video on my YouTube channel?
Yes, you may.
Thank you. Thank you so
You're
much
welcome.
for I feel very happy to know a lot of things from you. I came to know something new from you. I have learned something today. I can proudly say to my mom and my friends that I have learned from you something today because I did videos with a lot of people, but you
Mhm.
made me to see you for a long time. You made me to listen to you for a long time. Maybe because of your experience, maybe because of the knowledge that you have about things. I feel great. This is one of the best days in my life.
Dude, that's really kind. Thank you so much. Well, I really had a great time chatting with you.
Thank
So
you again.
you're very welcome. Take care.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.